You've been in a situation where someone's words sounded convincing, but something inside you whispered, is it more behind it? Or when he met a person and, without saying anything, he immediately felt, can I trust this individual? Today, I want to share with you something I have learned over many years, the ability to decipher people like an open book. It is not about interpreting words, but of capturing the signs they make often without even realizing it. Many people believe that this capacity is a gift, an innate sixth sense that allows us to see beyond appearances. But the truth is different. It is a competence that can be developed by anyone. Just watch with attention, patience, and willingness to understand what is beyond the obvious. When you dominate this art, your perception of the world transforms. Imagine entering a meeting room where everyone smiles, agrees, and speaks safely, but their eyes capture revealing details, a slight tremor in their hands, a look that runs away, lips that contract almost imperceptibly. Without needing words, you understand that not everything being said is true. You see the real thoughts even before they are expressed. In the past, I thought this ability was exclusive to psychologists or detectives, but life has shown me that it is essential to anyone. There is an old saying, rooted in Jewish wisdom, which says, do not believe the words, observe the actions, and listen to the silences. It is in intervals, in pauses, and what is not said that the truth is revealed. You have probably heard about body language, facial expressions, and psychological techniques, but I will not present you cold manual theories. I will share real experiences, tested in practice, where sharp perception saved business, friendships, and, in some cases, even lives. The secret is simple. People talk much less than they think, and what they shut up transpires in the eyes, gestures, breathing, and hesitation. Someone may smile, but the eyes betray the truth. It may agree, but the body resists. It is these small signs that reveal what really happens within each one. I remember when, younger, I often fell into the blind confidence trap. People said beautiful things, promised that everything would work out, and I, unable to read their gestures or silences, ended up frustrated, betrayed, or disappointed. It was these mistakes that taught me to observe beyond words, to realize the signs that no one can hide completely. And it is important to understand. This is not manipulation. It is the art of understanding that allows you to build more honest relationships and see reality without masks. Today, I will reveal nuances that few notice, but make all the difference. Who is really ahead of you? What this person thinks and how to act without exposing his own intentions. And here is an intriguing detail. In the end, I will teach a practical exercise that allows someone to decipher someone's true thoughts in a few minutes of conversation, without direct questions, without lies, and without risks. This technique will forever change the way you see people. When I began to observe others consciously, I realized that reading people is neither magic nor a supernatural gift. It is a matter of attention, a subtle habit of looking, listening, and feeling, and anyone can develop it. Just devote time and practice. Let me tell some stories to show how this works in practice. Once, at the beginning of my career, I worked with an extremely eloquent colleague. He spoke with conviction, smiled at the right time, and seemed his own reliability. But one detail caught my attention. Whenever he mentioned deadlines or appointments, his gaze diverted. His fingers played nervously with the documents, and his lips trembled slightly. I understood that, behind that facade, there was insecurity. If I trusted only in words, I could get in trouble. I decided to observe without interfering, just paying attention to the smallest details. Over time, I confirmed my suspicion. He had no intention of fulfilling his promises. Thanks to this perception, I was able to protect and adjust our relationship. This is the central point. Reading people is, first of all, to observe without judging. Many times, we draw hasty conclusions. He smiles, so everything is fine, or he's silent, then hides something bad. In reality, to really understand, we need to analyze the set of signs, the look, the facial expression, the gestures, the rhythm of speech, the tone of voice, and even breathing. Let's go to the main indicators. Body language, for example, never completely lies. Even if someone tries to disguise an emotion, hands, feet, shoulders, or posture can reveal the truth. Crossed arms and legs may indicate closure or distrust, while a slight slope forward shows interest. But remember, context is everything. Each person is unique, and an isolated gesture means nothing alone. The eyes are a complex window. A firm and quiet look usually denotes sincerity, while eyes that move aimlessly can signal that something is being hidden. I noticed that, at crucial times of the conversation, when someone avoids eye contact, there is something happening internally, not necessarily something bad. but a sign that deserves attention. The breaks in the rhythm of speech are also revealing. Prolonged hesitation before answering may indicate that the person is choosing the words carefully, hiding something, or doubting what he says. An accelerated speech, on the other hand, can betray nervousness or an attempt to cover up the truth. The words themselves also carry clues. Repetitions, unnecessary justifications, or vague phrases often reveal insecurity or lack of honesty. The wisdom I inherited from Jewish culture teaches, do not believe the words until actions and small details confirm them. Allow me to tell one more experience. When I started dealing with clients in the business world, I met an individual whose verbal promises never matched their attitudes. At first, I didn't understand why, but when observing his gestures, his gaze, and even his breath, I realized that his words were a mask, while his body and expressions revealed his real thoughts. This knowledge allowed me to anticipate your actions and act strategically, without letting me only by speech. There is another fundamental aspect to be understood. Reading people is not a tool for manipulating them, but to understand them and themselves. When you see beyond words, make more conscious decisions, build more genuine relationships, and prevent unnecessary traps. It is also a way of protecting yourself from manipulation and deception. But here is the secret. Do this subtlety, without imposing your observations on others, and, above all, without letting your own emotions distort your conclusions. I can share some practical steps to develop the skill with wisdom. Observe without judging. At first, you limit yourself to realize. See how the person moves, how he speaks, which gestures repeats. Do not try to interpret everything immediately. Hurrying at drawing is the biggest mistake of those who are learning. Instead, train yourself to capture emotions in the details. A fleeting look, a stout on the shoulders, or a break before an answer can reveal 1,000 words. Remember, a single isolated gesture means nothing, but when multiple signs align, they form a revealing pattern. Develop empathy. Understanding what someone thinks demands that you put yourself in the other's place, feeling your doubts, fears, or intentions. The great lesson I learned is that people rarely lie with the body. They can distort the truth with words, but their internal reactions, a sigh, a tremor in the hands, an involuntary movement, almost always betray them. When you learn to read these signs, you see layers of meaning that most ignore. But beware, this is not a gift that comes up overnight. It is a skill that is gradually built. I started by observing people close to you, then colleagues, until you apply this knowledge in complex negotiations. At first, it seemed that nothing made sense. Over time, however, small details, a smile that didn't come to the eyes, a change in the rhythm of the speech came to reveal me hidden truths. Today I see what was once invisible, and this gives me a clarity that transforms each interaction into an opportunity to act more safely and discern. And here is the most important principle. Do not use this knowledge to explore others' weaknesses. Read people to understand them, to protect themselves, and to act with integrity. This ability is not a weapon, but a shield that guides it in the midst of life ambiguities. Now, let's go beyond theory. It's time to unite all these insights and apply them in everyday life. The first point, of course, reading people is not about control, but about understanding. When you watch carefully, not only decipher others, but also see your own reactions. He will understand why he trusts some people and suspects. Others, when emotions overshadow reason or when words do not match the acts. The second point is constant practice. There is no shortcut, just as learning to play an instrument or driving. At first, everything seems confusing. You may think you are not capturing anything, but training daily, watching breaks, facial expressions, the tone of voice will gradually see what was once unnoticed. Allow me to illustrate with a real case. In a business negotiation, I came across a potential partner whose words were impeccable, safe, convincing, even inspiring, but something didn't beat. I noticed an almost imperceptible tension on his shoulders, a look that diverted in key moments and micro breaks before decisive phrases. Those signs told me that their words were a facade. Instead of confronting it, I asked strategic questions and observed calmly. The result? We have been able to establish a transparent, beneficial relationship for both, because I acted based on what I saw, not what I heard. Here's the essence. Observing and understanding people as a tool for building a life without illusions. You will see true intentions, anticipate actions, and make wiser decisions. It's not about manipulating, but creating authentic connections, protecting yourself and supporting who really matters. Finally, there's an unexpected benefit. This process also teaches you to get to know yourself better. By realizing how others react to you, you identify your own standards, your strengths, weaknesses, and automatic reactions. It's like a mirror. Through others, you see yourself more clearly. And the true wisdom is looking at this reflection without fear or self-pride. Finally, I leave a practical guide: 1. Observe daily without obsession. Note how people move, talk, and what nonverbal signs make. 2. Analysis without haste. Compare what they say to what your body reveals. The context is everything. 3. Develop empathy. Put yourself in the other's shoes to understand your motivations, not just your words. 4. Use knowledge with ethics to protect yourself. Build honest relationships and decide more right never to manipulate. When you integrate these principles, you will realize a profound change. It will read between lines, distinguish sincerity from pretending, and relying more on its intuition. And this is not just useful, it is transformative. As a proverb of my tradition says, wisdom does not come from words, but from observation and experience. Today, I shared with you part of this path. But remember, true power is in practicing, being aware of the life and the people around you. If you have gotten here, I thank you for your attention. Keep following, because there is still much to explore: real stories, advanced techniques, and the art of seeing beyond the obvious. Together, let's learn to build a more conscious life where each interaction is an opportunity to grow. And one last advice: observe kindly. Reading thoughts and emotions is a gift that arises when we open to the world. Use it wisely, and the world will reveal yourself to you in all your complexity and beauty. Remember, every gesture, every word, every look is a clue. Learn to decipher them, and you will become the one who sees more than others perceive, understands more than he hears, and thus transforms not only their relationships, but their own trajectory. When you master this art, your life will never be the same.